If you love comedy, specifically British comedy, and it includes obviously comedians like Ronnie Barker, you'll remember and love, just like I do, the classic series Porridge. What you may not know, however, is there was actually a sequel series called Going Straight. How did it stack up? Where did the storyline take Fletch? And was it as popular? Stick around to find out. So in 1978, the original writers of Porridge, Dick Francis and Ian Lafreniere, decided to set Fletcher free after 3 series, 2 Christmas specials, and a feature film. He was finally on the outside. But would he find life as easy? He even in the first episode encounters his old arch nemesis, Mr. Mackay, on the buffet car. And that particular episode is another example, just as the night-in was in series 1 of Porridge, of the brilliance between 2 actors of basically, it's a two-hander episode between the 2 of them and their characters, the connection between the 2 of them. Obviously, we followed them over the years inside Slade, and now they find they're on the way onto the next chapters of their life, and they actually, you see the kidmanship that has actually formed between the 2 of them. They share memories, stories and thoughts about the past few years, and they actually part as good friends, which is really nice to see. And they also were part ways extremely drunk. They get drunk in the buffet car on the way home. That is probably my favourite episode of the series. That's not to say that it doesn't carry on good form. Lenny Godber, his old cellmate, is now a long-distance lorry driver, and he's dating Fletcher's daughter Ingrid, which you can imagine goes down like a ton of bricks to start with. But does Fletcher accept Lenny and Ingrid as a couple? How does he cope with his 17-year-old son, played by a very young Nicholas Lyndhurst? And does he generally find life on the outside, including a new job as a security guard? How does he fare with it? Well, you find out as we go along through the 6 episodes. Yep, there were only 6. And there was only the 1 series. But despite that, it did attract 17.5 million viewers, and it did win a BAFTA award. The scripts are of the same high quality. I would definitely say, obviously, Ronnie Barker is on top form, and the original cast members that you see, Richard Beckinsale as Lenny Godber, Walter Mackay as Mr. Mackay, they're obviously top-notch. Nicholas Lyndhurst is great. Fletcher's daughter, Ingrid, she's great as well. But there is, for me, this something lacking. Just doesn't seem to be the kind of... Well, there isn't obviously the skullduggery between the thickness of thieves and all the schemes trying to get one up on their prison officers and all the escapades. That's kind of missing, although Fletch does try and make his way through life on the outside as best he can, and he still tries to thwart the powers that be and those around him, obviously for his betterment. But for me, there is just something lacking, and maybe, although, as I said, it had a very high viewership and it was very popular, maybe that's why it didn't go beyond 1 series. It was nicely kind of tied up at the end. I couldn't see it going much further, to be honest. So maybe the writers felt themselves that they'd taken the characters and the story to a natural progression. On the disc itself, there are, as I say, there's only the 6 episodes. It is a vanilla release in that there's no extra features. And as you can see from this picture of the disc, there's no printing on the disc. There's no photography. It's very much bare bones. You're buying this purely for the comedy and the fun of the show itself. There's no thrills whatsoever. I picked this up in CEX for a couple of quid. So you really can't argue at that. It was actually a show that I was looking to track down and get for a while. I had to rebuy it again because, as you do as a collector, sometimes you make room for other series and new material, and you have to rearrange a collection sometimes. So yeah, I picked this up, a couple of quid. You can't really argue at the pricing, or you can't really say it's not value for money. Was a very enjoyable series, but for me, it just doesn't quite stack up to the quality and hilariousness of Porridge, but it's still a very, very good watch. So that's it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give us a thumbs up, give us a like. And in the comments as well, if you remember Going Straight, what your thoughts were on this series. And also I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on sequels and spin-offs for comedies, if you can remember any others. And also, do you think they work, or whether we should leave well alone with the original series? So that being said, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video.